So you're lying on your couch, staring at the ceiling, doing absolutely nothing. And suddenly, you feel guilty. Like you should be productive, learning something, crushing goals. But here's the twist. Your brain is actually doing more right now than when you're scrolling Instagram for 2 hours straight. Doing nothing isn't lazy. It's a cognitive upgrade disguised as boredom. And science backs this up in the weirdest way possible. Let's talk about what your brain does when you think it's off duty. Spoiler, it's never actually off. There's this thing called the default mode network. It kicks in when you're not focused on anything specific. No tasks, no screens, just you and your thoughts. And this network, it's basically your brain's background processor. It sorts memories, connects ideas, and solves problems you didn't even know you had. Pretty wild, right? Think about the last time you had a breakthrough idea. I bet it wasn't during a meeting or while staring at a deadline. It was probably in the shower, or on a walk, or right before sleep. That's not a coincidence. Your brain needs downtime to process information. It's like defragmenting a hard drive. All those random thoughts, they're actually your mind organizing itself. Boredom is the loading screen before the level up. Here's where it gets interesting. Psychologists call this the incubation effect. You work on a problem, hit a wall, then walk away, and boom, the solution appears out of nowhere. Your conscious mind steps aside, and your subconscious takes over. It keeps working, even when you're not. It's like hiring a night shift for your brain, except you don't pay them, and they're weirdly good at their job. But we've been trained to think the opposite. Hustle culture tells us every moment should be optimized, productive, monetized. Rest feels like failure. But your brain isn't a machine. It's more like a garden. You can't force flowers to bloom faster by yelling at them. You water them, give them sunlight, and wait. Downtime is your brain's sunlight. Without it, creativity withers. Burnout becomes the default. And breakthroughs? Forget it. Let's get real for a second. When was the last time you were truly bored, not distracted, not entertained, just sitting there with your own mind? For most of us, that's terrifying. We reach for our phones instantly. But boredom is where the magic happens. It's uncomfortable because your brain is shifting gears. It's moving from consume mode to create mode. And that transition, it feels awkward. But it's necessary. Studies show that people who let themselves be bored perform better on creative tasks afterward. One experiment had people do boring activities like reading a phone book. Then, they were tested on divergent thinking. The bored group crushed it. They came up with more ideas and more original solutions. Because boredom forces your brain to entertain itself. It starts making connections, finding patterns, creating something out of nothing. Boredom is creative fuel. Now here's the kicker. Mind wandering isn't just good for creativity. It's also how you process emotions. When you're distracted all day, you never give yourself time to feel, to reflect, to integrate your experiences. That's why people feel emotionally numb after too much screen time. You're not broken, you're just overstimulated. Your brain needs silence to make sense of your life. Doing nothing is emotional hygiene. It's mental self-care. Think of your brain like a snow globe. When you're constantly busy, it's all shaken up. Everything's blurry. But when you stop and do nothing, the snow settles. Things become clear. You see what actually matters. That's why the best decisions often come after a pause. Not because you thought harder, but because you stopped thinking altogether. Clarity doesn't come from more input. It comes from stillness. From doing absolutely nothing. Here's another thing. Boredom makes you more curious. When your brain isn't being fed constant entertainment, it starts hunting for stimulation on its own. It asks questions. It explores ideas. It gets interested in things you'd normally ignore. That's why kids who aren't overscheduled tend to be more imaginative. They're forced to create their own fun. Boredom is the birthplace of curiosity. And curiosity is the engine of intelligence. But let's be honest, doing nothing feels weird now. We've trained ourselves to equate productivity with worth. If you're not hustling, you're failing. But that's a trap. Your value isn't measured by output. And your brain isn't designed for non-stop performance. Even elite athletes take rest days. Even computers need to reboot. You're not lazy for resting. You're smart. You're giving your brain the space it needs to actually function. There's also something called cognitive load. Your brain has limited processing power. Every decision, every notification, every task drains it a little. By the end of the day, you're running on fumes. That's decision fatigue. That's why you can't focus at night. Your brain is exhausted. Doing nothing replenishes that energy. It's like charging your phone. You wouldn't expect your phone to work on 0%. Why expect that from yourself? And here's something cool. Boredom can actually make you more empathetic. When you're not distracted, your mind starts thinking about other people. You daydream about conversations. You replay interactions. You imagine how others feel. That's your brain practicing social cognition. It's building empathy. But when you're glued to a screen, you miss that. You become less connected. Doing nothing makes you more human, more tuned in, more emotionally intelligent. Now let's talk about memory. Your brain doesn't just store memories when things happen. It consolidates them later, during downtime, during sleep, during those moments when you're doing nothing. If you're always busy, your brain never gets to file things properly. That's why everything feels like a blur. You're not forgetful. You're overstimulated. Doing nothing gives your brain time to turn experiences into memories, to make meaning out of moments. Here's a fun fact. Some of the greatest thinkers in history were professional daydreamers. Einstein, Newton, Tesla. They all spent hours just sitting, thinking, doing nothing. That's not procrastination, it's incubation. It's letting ideas marinate. But we've forgotten how to do that. We treat every idle moment like a problem to solve. We fill silence with noise. We mistake stillness for stagnation. But stillness is where brilliance lives, always has been. So how do you actually do nothing? It's harder than it sounds. Start small. 5 minutes without your phone. No music, no podcast, just you. Sit by a window, lie on the floor, stare at clouds. Let your mind wander. Don't force it. Don't judge it. Just let it go wherever it wants. It'll feel uncomfortable at first. That's normal. Your brain is detoxing from constant stimulation. Give it time. It gets easier. And no, meditation isn't the same thing. Meditation is focused, it's intentional. Doing nothing is the opposite, it's letting go of intention. It's pure mental wandering. Both are valuable, but they're different. Meditation is like yoga for your mind. Doing nothing is like letting your mind run wild in a field. It's unstructured, messy, and that's exactly why it works. Your brain needs both discipline and chaos. Balance is the key. Here's the truth. The world will always demand your attention. There will always be more to do, more to consume, more to achieve. But your brain can't keep up with that pace. It wasn't built for it. So doing nothing isn't rebellion. It's survival. It's reclaiming your mental space. It's saying no to the noise. And yes, to clarity, to creativity, to actually thinking your own thoughts. That's power. That's freedom. Look, you don't need to become a hermit. You don't need to quit everything and move to the woods. Just carve out small pockets of nothingness in your day. Morning coffee without your phone. A walk without headphones. 5 minutes before bed without a screen. These tiny moments add up. They're not wasted time. They're invested time. In your mental health. In your intelligence. In your ability to think clearly. That's not nothing. That's everything. So next time you catch yourself doing nothing, don't panic. Don't reach for distraction. Just sit with it. Let your mind roam. Let it be weird. Let it be messy. Because that's where your best ideas are hiding. That's where solutions appear. That's where you actually become smarter. Doing nothing isn't the enemy of productivity. It's the secret ingredient. Your brain knows what it's doing. Trust it. Let it rest. Let it work.